Deep breaths, guys. Everyone, take a quick second to just take a deep breath, suck in all the positive energy, expel the doo-doo. Not literal doo-doo. That's like awful. Hey everyone, this is Coffee with Soul, where I try to wake up, run the clock for a little bit, and invade your brains as you play other games and do other things, and otherwise while we chat and I talk about super random stuff. You can always catch us live every Tuesday through Thursday, starting at 8:30 a.m. But otherwise, here's the VOD. Welcome, dudes. Don't forget to subscribe and do all that other stuff. But let's say hi to the folks that are joining us live. Like Dragonfire, you're the first person to say hi. What's up, dude? What's up to Peter? What is up to Menergy? What's up to Nono? What's up to Shady and to the Nightbot? And see, who else we have? We have Mad Caliber. We had someone that subscribed just a moment ago. That was Nono. Thank you very much for throwing me that Prime sub. And hi. It's Tuesday, so it's a new week. I didn't stream yesterday. I usually don't stream on Mondays, so get used to that, bros. Because like throughout pretty much all of last week, I was playing the crap out of Tales of Rise, and I'm gonna do kind of a informal. I'll do like an informal review of it right now. Oh no, I'll do it a little bit later. Let's just say hi and all that first. One thing that I'm excited for this week is that Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming out Thursday. I don't know if it's going to be like a Wednesday at midnight sort of thing, or if it's just going to be like sometime Thursday it's going to deploy. Ta-da, there we go. But you can expect me to be playing the crap out of that at least all throughout Thursday. It should be fun. We'll see how many levels I can get in like a couple of hours or so. And I'll try to play throughout the weekend. However, it's I think Blizzard got blizzarded because just a few days later, I believe it's going to be like the following Tuesday or so, New World is going to release, the game from Amazon Games, and I'm probably going to be giving that like a really good second chance, as in I'm going to be playing that throughout most of the week over on stream. Now, real quick, like New World, it's an MMO, but it's not like a sub game. It's just like it's like $40. There are going to be microtransactions in there, but I think those only have to do with like skins, like cosmetics and whatnot. So far, I'm sure they're going to add more stuff later in, but I haven't seen what their store is looking like. And of course, D2 Resurrected is just D2. It just looks nicer than it did before. But ultimately, it's the same game. You can even hit a toggle and just make it like the old game again, because everything is, because unlike Warcraft 3 Reforged, everything is still fundamentally the same. So it's cool because we're going to get two games in kind of succession that you just buy to play. You just get it, and you're good to go. Or in the case of Diablo 2 Resurrected, you can use gold and essentially buy it off of someone else's real money. But yeah, let's say hi. Let's see what's going on with chat right now. Let's see. Jalzan is hanging out with his mom. Actually, my mom is coming this week, which kind of puts a damper on me wanting to play D2 Resurrected throughout the weekend. So there goes that. But it's okay. Let's see. Let's see. Hi to people. You're making food. Hi, lurkers and other such people. What's up, Shady? What's up, Osroll? And other folks. What's up, Baz? But yeah, mom will be coming for a couple of weeks, and she's going to be staying at the other house, actually. She's going to be at the other house. It's a weird situation. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, she's going to be there. But then, of course, I'm going to be going and visit. D and I will probably take her out for like a nice dinner at some point. We just need to like figure it out. What's up, Lapis? Good to see you, first time chatter. But yeah, I was talking about Tales of Rise, and I played the crap out of it. Up until the last day of me streaming it on Thursday, I was mostly playing it online, or at least progressing through the story online, or on stream. I'm sorry. But then after Thursday, I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's go. So I played through the rest of the game. I beat it, and then I went through. I didn't do. There's like a new game plus option. I didn't do that yet, but I did like a bunch of the end game stuff, and I blew through that stuff too. Got all the best weapons, which aren't really the best weapons. There's like kind of a loop. There's kind of a loop that happens with that, but it's fun. It was a fun experience. There are there are weird things about it, and I'll try to get into that. But the big highlight of Tales of Arise, like all the other Tales series, is a twofold thing. One is the combat. Love the combat. It's very actiony. It's very busy. It's all over the place. You got dudes jumping around all over the place. You got projectiles flying wherever. You got crap on the ground that all of a sudden rises up, and you're not sure if it's going to kill you or kill the enemy. There are things to dodge, get out of the way of, move people into. There's all these different sorts of skill shots. Things can auto. Like one really cool thing about the game is that it has this auto function, but it also automatically kicks in if you just stop putting inputs onto your controller for like a few moments. Like if you want to give yourself like a quick breather, then the AI will very quickly take control of your character, start firing off abilities very irresponsibly, I might add, but it'll access its entire repertoire of arts or abilities. And sometimes, if you're just trying to get through a thing, you get into combat, and combat in Tales can last for a little while, especially at the higher level, where it can be minutes long, where you want to get through stuff. You're like, okay, I can look at another browser tab for a second, or I can look at my phone, or I can like look away for like just a moment while things start firing off, and you'll be okay. But I played through it, got to the end game. I think all there is left to do really is to like get collections and things like that, and it's kind of a fun. That was a kind of a fun romp too, because the way that you zip around in Tales is that there's no world map. There isn't exactly like an overworld field of sorts. You just kind of like you just kind of walk for the most part, but you can fast travel to many locations, which is very nice. And it's something that you find yourself doing a lot, because there's a lot of, okay, go here, talk to this person, go here, talk to this person. But it gets you back in combat really fast, which I very much appreciate. The story is kind of typical Tales, and I'm not going to spoil things, but you start off as like kind of an unknown. You don't know who you are. You don't know what's going on. All you know is that you're like a slave in some mine. And then eventually you're like kind of in another world of sorts, and you're with your companions, and it's typical Tales, because you have your kind of a humble beginnings, but then as things unravel and unfold, you find yourself in a situation that's like, wow, I've come really far where I was before. Holy crap. The big theme of it, and I hope this isn't really a spoiler, but a big theme of the game is trying to fight from being a slave. The word slave is used so many times in that game. You get sick of it. It starts to get numb in your head. But it's like, instead of Tales of Arise, they should have called it Tales of Awoke, because that's what a lot of that is. It's like, oh man, we're trying to fight against these people who treat us like slaves, and it just keeps building from that. And yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Going much further into that gets into pretty heavy spoiler territory. But when you get to the end, it feels awkward, because I found myself not quite knowing what I accomplished, other than surviving to the next day. There are microtransactions. It's a typical Tales game, and anyone who's played it knows that there are certain kinds of microtransactions that trivialize the game. They're just there. You want easy mode, you pay for easy mode, but it's there. And to that, like, I didn't do any of them. and it works out fine because you could always just change the difficulty of the game too. So it's very friendly in that respect, but those microtransactions are there for like the whales. The real money, though, I think comes from the different skins that you can buy. From their store, there are some pretty cool looking costumes, and that provides a little bit of replay value because you can, because a lot from the cutscenes to those little talking moments. There are little talking moments where it sort of plays out like a comic strip, but most everything is voiced. There's so much voice acting in this game, you wouldn't believe it. But using different costumes, whether it's stuff that you earn in game, and there are a lot, or stuff that you buy from the shop, all that stuff shows up in cutscenes and other such things. So you can pull out some really silly stuff like you can give everyone these giant wings and then you can't see anything. Although that would be probably more infuriating than humorous, but some people would probably get a kick out of that. You could have everyone look like bunnies or puppies or have weird little glasses on. Everyone can be in bath towels. Holla. There's 3 guys and 3 girls in case anyone's wondering. And as for the characters themselves, going a little bit into the story, it feels like there are a lot of tropes. It's a very anime feel sort of game, and it doesn't try to pretend otherwise. I mean, non-spoiler, there is a bathhouse scene. Anyone who's familiar with anime and how bathhouse scenes play out, same thing. You're gonna, that's there, and you get a costume out of it. Another small spoiler. Oh well. But overall, it's a ton of fun. It's not worth $60. But wait for it. I think I say wait for it to be on an actual sale. But otherwise, for people who are like really big fans of the game, oh yeah, it's really good. It's a really good entry to the series. Or if you're not familiar with it and you're interested and you've seen like the videos and stuff, it feels really good to play. It feels good in your hands. There's lots of stuff to do. Things, systems, they can get really deep with crafting and finding items, things like that. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Boom, that's the review. So I should talk about that lawsuit, huh? Because that was the title of the stream. Hello, God. I actually skipped over it because lawsuit was the first thing I wrote down in the daily notes. But then I guess I started from the bottom, and then I went up. Hello. You want wings, pineapple? Hi, by the way, first time chatter. Hello. So the other day, and God, I'm going off the top of my head here. I shouldn't. There are like specifics that I should be reading, but there is a new. I don't know if it's a lawsuit necessarily, but here we go. It's the Securities and Exchange Commission. They are beginning an investigation into Activision Blizzard. That's kind of a twofold thing. One is to look into how. It's a bit, like we got to be specific with the wording here. How executive leadership handled the allegations of harassment, sexual misconduct, that sort of thing, and also, and I think this is why they're getting involved. The investigation or the accusation that Activision Blizzard has misled investors by making it seem like everything's okay when it's not okay, because that influenced investors' decisions, and that's kind of what they do. I'm not speaking from a very learned perspective, so I'm not going to contest if someone's going to be like, no, it's like this. I'm like, okay, that's fine. One of the big takeaways from this is there are multiple subpoenas that were put out, including to Bobby Kotick himself, to kind of answer for his handling of how this went on, which is kind of big news. I want to be more excited over something like this. You see like the Twitter space being like, oh, this is it. They're gonna chop off the head of the snake, and once he's gone, everything's going to be great. Harassment is done. Sexual misconduct, it's solved. World peace has been achieved, and that sort of thing. All we have to do is get rid of him, and that's it. So No, unfortunately. What my take on it, and my takes are usually bad. Sorry, my take on it is that the stuff that's been going on at Blizzard, they happened. They the seeds were planted the way I see it, and from what little I've read, they happened before that whole Activision Blizzard merge. Now, the responsibility on Kotick is definitely there. He needs to answer for something. Notably, the past couple of years when things started to come out. However, before, it was pretty well known, or it's disputed, but it's pretty well known that Blizzard acted with relative autonomy. They were just allowed to do their own thing. They just give, they just cut Activision Blizzard leadership. They just cut them the check. Here's the money. Cool. Give us more money so we can finance stuff and that sort of thing. So it makes it. This is headcanon. This is total headcanon. Okay, but the way I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure that Blizzard leadership did whatever it could to not let these reports of misconduct and other such things in the culture, whatever. They did what they could to not let news of that reach Bobby Kotick's desk. So Kotick might be insulated from the many years prior. As for the handling of things now, with notably with like employee pay and of course the recent allegations, things like that, how that's being handled, that's something that he would need to I think he needs to answer for. So that's why the SEC is asking for like specific information, like his like more recent emails, more recent minutes from meetings, that sort of thing. Even if I don't know, maybe it's because I'm familiar enough with, or I'm cynical enough with what happens when companies get in trouble. Nothing really happens. What's probably gonna happen? They pay a fine. They are mandated to do certain things, act in certain ways. But I don't see Kotick being dragged out in handcuffs or anything like that. I don't see him or much of anyone going to jail. I don't even see, I don't see him getting like fired over something like this. Now, if we find some sort of smoking gun, right? Like if this investigation reveals, oh yeah, so I know we were looking for like this and this and this, but we found these communications that have to do with like kiddie porn or something like, if they find something like that, okay, that's totally different. But then we're already going way off topic. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for they're looking for stuff that's related to these allegations and the lawsuits and the handling of these sorts of things. They're not I'm not sure if they're exactly looking for, oh, is Bobby Kotick, is he enabling these sorts of things? It's more like how is he handling the reports, or is he handling the reports? And there's just going to be a lot of money that's paid out, followed by, hey, new Call of Duty skin is out and it's on sale and blah blah blah, and then they're going to make their money back, and that'll be it. That's it. Because even if folks like you and I might be like, oh man, this is terrible. I'm not going to support this sort of company with this sort of leadership. Yada 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 yada. There's a lot of dudes and dudettes out there that just want to go and shoot people in the face with their pretend guns, and they'll pay their money to do it, to look good doing it. That's the sobering, that's the boring reality of it. And I mean, I would love to think that leadership over here can simply be like, all right, guys, just break open that glass and pull out the next bit of good news. Let's pull out player housing. Let's pull out this other thing that people want. Let's bring back Master Loot. Let's, whatever. I would love to think that they have their own little archive of stuff that they've developed and they're just kind of sitting on in case there's like bad news. Woo. Unfortunately, it's not going to be that. Yeah. doesn't quite work like that. Someone's talking about chicken. Bobby Kotick is like Hydra, cut off the company's head, and 2 new ones grow back. I mean, isn't that what happened with, I forgot his name. Sorry, Jalen Brack. Jalen Brack just like, boop, and then all of a sudden, Mike Ybarra, Jen O'Neill, they pop up. Smart move, a little side comment, smart move on Jen O'Neill's part to be like, social media, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to stick to the work. I think that's good on her. Let Mike be the face of, I guess he'll be like the face of Blizzard, kind of, right? I saw a tweet from him just earlier talking with Now from Echo. He was like, "Hey, dude, we should do like Legion plus time walking stuff on the PTR." Like, oh, that'd be cool. It's cool to see something really down to earth like that. It also makes me, I'm sure a cynic would be like, "Hey, he should stop fucking playing video games. He should be spending all his time fixing his broken company, something." Bobby Kotick. I don't know. Jazon says that they're just going to pay the requisite bribes and write them off on taxes. No, I think they're going to release more skins and other such things. It's funny because Ian used to be exactly like this until players complained he was focusing too much on chatting and playing than making the game. Oh, was that the case? I was not part of the Twitter stuff. I don't even really frequent the forums very much. But if that was the case when Ian was a designer or game director or whatever, that'd be hilarious. But this is different though, because Mike Ybarra doesn't produce WoW, right? Although people like to think so. People like to give that close association. Oh yeah, Ybarra and O'Neill are in charge now. They are obviously the reason why things have gotten better. We don't know the reason. I'm just gonna be glad for it. I said it the other day. I like this desperate Blizzard who's hanging from the ropes. With all these looming games that are threatening to take its crown, or maybe its crown is already taken and now it's being beat over the head with it. Like, take that, take that, Blizz, because we're that malicious. Did we have anything else? I think we can kind of get to video games now. Hey, or can we? Let me see. Was there any other chatty stuff? Let's see. I love how the news articles chose the worst possible pictures of Bobby. Oh yeah, definitely a psychological thing. Thanks, internet. You see that. Actually, it's not. No, that's not even an internet thing. That has been a news thing since forever. From what is it like the Inquirer or those tabloids? There we go, tabloids. I forgot what they were called before. Before it was called clickbait, or these days it's called clickbait. But before, tabloid news. Yeah, of course you'll find the worst one because that will catch people's attention and that will produce this sort of cathartic feeling. It's yeah, stay down there, you punk bitch. What was the one that I saw of Kotick? It looked like he got hit or something. It looked like part of his face was sunburned and he looked sort of jacked. I feel kind of bad, but well, that's the picture that you get. Oh well. Let's even get caught up in chat. Something. All classes for all races. Oh god, here we go. Wait. Did we talk about this last week? We talked about race class combos and how there was a recent post from I forgot who it was, but they teamed up with the Lost Codex and they made this pretty lengthy post about all the different paladin orders that could come from the different races. If paladins could become any race, this is how it would be done, and here we go. It's a really interesting concept, and it has cool pictures and icons and things like that. So they look pretty. The only thing that I don't buy into it very much The only thing that I don't enjoy about it very much is that they renamed abilities. They called it a class skin. I'm not fond of the term class skin. That sounds kind of weird. But they renamed the abilities, where Judgment had however many different variations there are for the different races. And, to me, it takes away the iconic... it takes away the iconic nature of the class ability itself. It's Judgment. Now, I totally get that it creates like this, we want to celebrate like the race class combo thing. We want to celebrate that race, that race owning that class with a unique ability. And I'm cool. I'm totally cool with a look. Like if it was called like if you can change the ability and call it Glyph of the Loa based Zandalari Troll Judgment, whatever, that would be cool. But still, like the tooltip should still say Judgment, because otherwise it would cause confusion. I mean, that's why they should just rename heroism to bloodlust, because who says hero? Jeez, man. Literally no one says heroism anymore. Come on. Everyone says bloodlust. Get over it. I'm joking. Or am I? Maybe Blizzard should bring back the Q&A videos. They never had breakthrough answers that hyped up the audience, but it still gave viewers the feeling that they made an effort, having some interaction between players and the company that's pretty much gone these days. Something that I do miss is the weekly marmot. When, this is before Lore joined Blizzard, he just kind of sat down and answered questions in a kind of long-winded way. It reminds me of me now. I think a lot of my content still kind of feels inspired by that, because it's like, oh, let me answer this question, and then let me get into it for like 10 minutes or so. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that on a sort of monthly thing where Ian or a number of designers, they just pop on and they, not even on a stream, just a pre-recording where they just answer a bunch of questions. The problem with that, though, and I've talked about this before, the problem with that is when you need to address certain, if someone's asking about a certain thing, it's usually not as easy for like one person to answer it, as if that one person was in charge of like the whole thing, and it might not have been. It might have been, it's kind of like being a writer. Like they submit the idea, goes back and forth through an editor. Maybe it's collaborated between multiple people, and then ultimately, they come up with a thing, and like that's it. So it's usually not just one person. When it comes to answering for like design decisions and things like that, anyone needs to be careful about how they word those sorts of things, because if you haven't noticed, we tend to take words and we hyper analyze the context. I mean, heck, just earlier today, I put out a video that talked about that asked the question of whether or not there's going to be a patch 9.3. And I pulled up an older interview from earlier this year. It was between Mike from Preach Gaming and Ian, where Ian was like, it's not going to be like a WOD. We're going to have more content. It's not going to be a one patch thing. And then Mike was like, oh, yeah, so there's definitely going to be a 9.2, right? And Ian's like, yeah, there's going to be a 9.2. But he technically didn't say that there's going to be, or that there's not going to be a 9.3. Woo! And Wowhead, we would have videos. I would have videos that would take a look at these sorts of things, and I would analyze them, and I would look into it, and then I would, we would create, we would generate our response and have headcanon towards it. That might like totally go on different tangents, or might go off topic. That would lose the message of what was being said before. Now, let me cut into that and also say that I would like more of these. Yes, absolutely. I would like more dev water coolers. I would like to have these sorts of Q&As happen, but I totally get why they can take up tons and tons of time when that time could be taken just working on the game. I could see a back and forth conversation with this. It's like, well, instead of just working on bad systems, Blizz, you should talk with us and we could have a powwow over it. But then there's the question of, should this be a game where the players have that much say and that much control with what's going on? There are clear lessons that Blizzard ought to learn, and we're seeing what in patch 915, we're seeing what should have been. We're not just seeing good news and things that we like. We're seeing things that should have been there before. And so there's a very fair argument that players can make that, hey, we should have a seat at the table. We should be able to give that sort of input, and you should implement a lot of these things before we just get pissed off over it. And then we have this sort of impossible arguments of woulda, coulda, shoulda. And yeah, but it's also, but again, it's also hard because, like I said, they're trying to work on the game at the same time, and if their design becomes that malleable, one thing that, at least off the top of my head, it would take that much longer for them to produce anything, because people will be going back and forth, and Blizzard's going to be like, okay, well, let's listen to what the players have to say, I guess, while we work on art or something like that. But I again, I would like to see more of those things. I think they should take more risks, or not try so hard to control player behavior. Be mindful of it, but I think they should err on the side of, oh, it's too easy, it's too soft, rather than it's too restrictive. And I think they've definitely gone the route of it being too restrictive. Go the loose route, see what happens, and I think that maybe they'll be surprised, or maybe we'll be surprised, because all of a sudden we'll see a bunch of people that are like, oh, well, we're not playing because I don't feel like doing this. Everything's account wide now. Like, I don't need to work on my alts, because once I did it on my main once, I just need to boom, boom, boom. My alt has access to all this stuff. I don't even need to farm Mythic Plus anymore, or whatever, because all I need to do now is farm for Valor. I don't even need to do high keys anymore. Screw it, whatever. So yeah, it's a little hard to predict, but I'm curious to see a different approach, where things are just like a little bit easier. Not gonna lie, the borrowed power systems have been bad the past two expansions. Funny enough, I thought here's a bad take. Funny enough, I thought Legion was the worst of the borrowed power systems. Not throughout the expansion, but the end of it, and that kind of set things up. It kind of set up BFA to not feel good from the very start, because you don't have access to those artifacts anymore. They're gone. They were almost literally ripped away from us, and to me, that's what made it the worst out of all of those. BFA and the Heart of Azeroth. Now it's kind of a funny thing, because it still works. Go to Time Walking. I keep saying it. Time Walking started. Strap on that Heart of Azeroth, go to town, because your essences are like freaking overpowered. You got an extra life, or you have the Vision of Perfection, which is definitely my favorite, and that sort of thing. And we don't quite know what's going to happen with Shadowlands yet. Conduits are kind of like meh. That, if you haven't noticed, that is the not infinite power grind, but that is the long tail max level progression. Not even so much soul binds or whatever things. It's definitely been the conduits. And the jury's still out. If Blizzard decided that, okay, cool, the 10-0 started, we're going to give everyone a talent row, and all of your Covenant abilities are just on that row, and then you just choose whatever. If they did that, then, well, there goes that argument. And then I go back to, Legion feeling the worst. BFA feeling a little awkward because it works here but not there. And then Shadowlands, oh, we keep them. Okay, that's pretty neat. I'll miss my Brawn though. I'm pretty sure that soul binds will more than likely go away. I'll miss my Brawn. I'll miss my Brawn Cena, or will I? Because you can't see him. Dun dun dun. Oh, people are chatting about stuff. They'll keep up with the borrowed power. Oh, will they keep up with the borrowed power stuff or have another reset? That's the big question. It's somewhere between the customer is always right and you think you do, but you don't. As a man with many alts, I can tell you account-wide would not stop me from playing alts. In fact, it would make the alt experience better for me. But yeah, I mean, that's one. I think to myself, would I play more alts if it was alt friendlier? I think the short answer is yes, but it wouldn't be by much more. I wouldn't, I wouldn't be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna switch to my druid now and do this and this. No, if anything, I actually might get on my druid now because I'm trying to prepare for patch 9.15. There is in fact preparation for a minor patch that I'm going to suggest for people maybe sometime this week or something like that. They did say they wanted us to leave Shadowlands with some of what we got there. I'm hoping that it's more than what they did with Legion, because Legion, like I said, Legion to me felt like the worst, because some classes were able to leave with some of their artifact abilities. Ret Paladins got to leave with their Wake of Ashes. Holy and Protection, nope, denied, all gone. We got some sort of bastardized version of that sort of stuff later, like the idea of Avenger Shield becoming a bubble. That was kind of the concept carried over, but the actual thing did not. And I loved like the explosive shield effect, like that was awesome. Those were all things that were like really cool. It would be cool if we get Shadowlands abilities as talent. Yeah, I think that would be great. Straight up. To me, that is a kind of a horizontal. It's kind of a horizontal sort of system. One new thing. All right, Blizzard, is that okay? Give us one new ability. Let us keep that. That'd be awesome. Let's see. It's because he's. Oh, I missed something. Oh no. Big Hollywood can't hurt him too. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, you guys are talking about wrestling. Holy moly. What's up, Affabel? You only say that because Divine Toll is too good. Divine Toll is too good. Divine Toll, it synergizes just way too well with other stuff. But to me, that it just works. It works because Divine Toll is just the same ability, but more. That's it. You have there are other abilities in other Covenant abilities that feel a little bit more transformative. Like, oh, this feels really iconic. It lays down this cool Covenant, these Covenant colors, and it has this flashiness and it has this sort of theme to it. Divine Toll is just 5, the same thing multiplied by 3 or 5. Done. and that I totally dig. That I totally dig. The signature ability. That would be interesting too, if you got 2 rows, or if you had like a mega row where you just chose the Covenant and then you got the ability for that. I wonder. Yeah, I think over the course of the expansion, like we're kind of seeing the effects of having those sorts of bits of utility being swapped around. Like, remember before when Shadowlands first launched? When Shadowlands was first announced, all the attention was put onto Door of Shadows. Oh, it's a blink. That's it. That's it. That's decided. Everyone's going vent there. Everyone else is trash. Times have changed at least a little bit. You know, where there is like a, okay, this covenant's good for this, but this covenant's good for that sort of thing. That part is good, but the feeling of not being optimal, the feeling of not being able to be optimal all the time, not as good. And 915 is going to challenge that design. It's a bet, sort of, because now in 915, and this might be like, it might be like a low key, this might be low key bad. It's going to challenge people to be like, okay, so I want to join a PUG. I want to join a Mythic Plus or whatever. I want to be the covenant that I want to be, but it's really easy for me to switch to the covenant that people are telling me to switch to. Otherwise, I can't get into a group. So removing that sort of barrier, we're going to see like this continued social experiment. How are people going to treat each other now, knowing that things can change? Now, one great thing is that there are people that, you know, early on, you know, even some people in my guild, like they made a choice and they're like, you know, I'm too fucking lazy to switch it back. And fortunately, my guild is okay with that, because I'm okay with that. It's like, oh, you want to keep whatever the hell you want to be a Necrolord Paladin? There aren't. This is a totally made up story, but you want to be that? Well, okay, we'll deal with it, and we deal with it. Now it's going to be different. Now some of these players are going to be challenged with making that choice, and it's going to be up to me as a guild leader and a raid leader to not pressure folks into that, because it's not necessary, and it's going to be hard, because I'm going to run into that soul render motherfucker again in 915, and hopefully by then we'll totally have it on farm and we'll be able to smoke them without needing a death knight or whatever. But at least having a death knight is great. That's all we needed. I think the death knight that we have is Venthyr. I don't remember, but he's not Necrolord. But having one that's Necrolord, oh man, that totally trivializes that fight. It makes smoking those ads much easier, much more trivial, much easier on that death knight, and so on and so forth. Are we going to run into situations where we get to the next encounter and then 25% of your team needs to hearth back because they need to change their covenant? Because right now, at least, you know, with the way 915 is working, it's not going to be like a talent. You're not going to be able to just pop a tome over the wherever and switch your covenant. You got to go back and then get us something back and that sort of thing. So there's that bit of friction, but the adaptability is going to be there. No doubt we're going to see that at some level. Mythic level, absolutely. Raid teams they're gonna find it in their best interest to pressure these people to switch to whatever covenant to optimize for that sort of fight. As we go down the power band, the power and skill band, you know, it's going to be a lot more relaxed. You know, I'm going to try and be more relaxed. But I'll at least remind people, hey, you know what? If you want to change, you can change. I'll ask you guys to consider some of those things for the sake of your performance, but I'm probably not ever going to say, hey, dude, I need you to change or whatever, unless we like really hit a wall or something like that. Because in those sorts of situations on other teams, they'll probably be like, oh, let me pull in a pug. Let me pull in a pug from the ether so we can get that sort of comp that we want. We don't do that in my guild. We don't, you know, we tend to not have a mage. We tend to not have a monk. We tend to not have a demon hunter. we deny ourselves a lot. But it's going to vary from group to group. Unfortunately, in the pug world, it's probably going to lean towards having that sort of pressure to switch and to adapt and to optimize to do whatever. Dragon would be happy if they just let us keep the Covenant and class ability from Shadowlands and... okay, just those two things, right. I think I saw that. Yeah, would they let us keep the Steward and Door of Shadows and Soul Shape and that sort of thing. I would love to, because I'm thinking about Soul Shape, right? They in 915 they're adding more of these things and like the critter form and all that. So it makes me think, oh man, it would be awesome if they did let us keep those things and let us switch to those things. If the bonds that kept us with our covenants stayed together, no soul binds, no covenants. I'm sorry, no conduits. I think those can, I think we can leave those behind. Maybe when we're in the Shadowlands, they work, something like that. But as for the abilities and stuff, interesting. They could be pretty interesting. I have a feeling that the Kyrian one would still be like the super OP one, because it offers a cleanse and a heal and a separate pot. Can't go wrong with that, dude. Screw it. If you play through all 4 Covenant storylines, you are all 4 Covenants, have all the abilities, have all the just give it all to me, give it to me. That'd be fun. Everyone, all the paladins open up with an Ashen Hollow on the pole and just smoke everything. Or like, oh, big healing coming, Ashen Hollow. Ashen Hollow, super Ashen Hollow, slappy hands, all that stuff, just like brrr, brrr. Oh, I know, Justin. No, I appreciate it, dude. Like I just try to keep it with the family and all that. Covenant Thanos, you say? Affabel's a filthy casual, so I just went with what I like to play with. I have Bastion for my priests and paladins, Ardent Will for my hunters, druids and shamans, and Necrolord for my death knights and warriors. Might choose Ventir for 1 or 2 of my alts. I mean, like, I definitely am on a mission with my paladin, at least. He's gonna go on the world tour, yo. He's gonna max out everything. And there are people that have done that already. They through like the traditional way. But being able to switch back and forth, to me, that's going to be the big appeal. It's that I'll be able to farm for all the transmog and get. I'm definitely going for Night Fae first. Night Fae Paladin all the way. Get the wood suit. Enjoy that. And then I'll probably do everything else too. So I'll get all the what's it called, cosmetics, the transmog, the mounts, the pets, etc. And all that, and then cool. The real challenge, though, and this will be such a pain in the ass, is to get all the weapons, because in Castle Nathria, all the weapons are behind tokens. So you would need to switch to the Covenant. Oh no, yeah, you would need to like get the tokens, then switch to the Covenant that you want, and then turn in that token for the transmog. Boy, that's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm not quite sure how that works. I'm not sure how it works in terms of unlocking transmog. Like, maybe you can help me out with this. If I have a certain appearance as Kyrian, if I switch covenants, does that appearance change, or do I need to unlock a new one? And then there's the difficulties: LFR, normal, heroic, mythic, which I believe there aren't. I don't believe there are recolors of each one, or are there? There's a lot. There is a lot of transmog that came in this expansion. Don't get me wrong, and I appreciate that, but man, it's a lot. It's going to be a heck of a long-term farm, and mercy to those who are now. I'm a transmog person, but I'm not like the enthusiast type, who is like, not only do I need to collect everything, I need to collect it soon. And there are a lot of people like that out there. I totally respect that. I just feel bad for them because if they don't, if they can't get all the covenant things within a month, they get mad. And I'm like, damn, dude, this is something that should be like, this is like a long tail thing for the whole expansion. Why you gotta rush like that? Because I want to. And that's okay. I feel bad for them, but it's okay. Man, that's just rough. Putting yourself under that sort of pressure for a game. I mean, yeah, that's if that's how you want to enjoy or suffer through the game, then I guess more power to you. Yeah, lots of weird, lots of takes on that sort of thing. Let's see. Sloot on Twitter is reminding us that New World launches in 1 week. Makes me envious that I never tried to get sponsored for stuff like that. But is anyone going to try that out, by the way? Asking folks at home or on the VOD, because I'll probably include this on the VOD too. Anyone going to be trying it out? Because I will. I will try out New World. I want to give it a good second shot. I did my bit of exploring, and I think I decided what I wanted to do. It's basically the same route that I'm taking with Final Fantasy XIV, because the only thing that interests me so far is just the kind of like very casual, hey, I just want to do my own thing. And I'll probably just gather stuff a lot. I'm just gonna gather and craft and feel my way through. No guides, going in blind, not know what the hell I'm doing, live off the land, that sort of thing. And so next week, we'll kind of share in that experience, whether you're playing alongside with me, if that's possible, or just watching, and I'll just be plugging away, mining stuff, chopping things down, and seeing what the hell I can do with it. T-Fel says it's basic. I'm fine with basic. I'm cool with that. I never played. No. Here's, I guess you're gonna take my gamer card away, but I never played RuneScape. It never really hit my radar. So if this is something like this, but it's even more basic, I'm cool with it because at least it looks nice. And it'll be the hotness for a little while. But yeah, I'm just gonna feel my way through, go in blind, not know what I'm doing, and enjoy the ignorance. That's been a it's been a theme lately. I've noticed, like Max and his own Project 14, like they've been progressing through Savage raids. Eventually they'll get to ultimates, because he's been going with a totally green team for the most part, and just kind of learning things and skilling up as they go. And like they have advisors, and they have people that craft stuff for them and take care of the mundane stuff. They're just working on the gameplay side of things, but they're doing it blind. Like me, I usually like doing my experiences blind, and that's something that I try and fail, but I try to stress on people. It's like, what, the best experience that you'll have in gaming is when you just figure it out yourself. And I feel like these days it's hard to get that message out to people, because folks are so dependent on guides and videos, and don't get me wrong, I make them too, right? Because there's an audience out there. But I feel like there's too strong of a dependence on these guides and videos and add-ons and weak auras and etceteras. And there's a lot of folks, even Max and similar people, who are like, dude, you like need these add-ons in order to succeed. Otherwise, like, these fights are literally impossible and blah, 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 blah. And I don't buy it at all. I believe it's just that hard. Like, if WoW were to disable all the add-ons, right? But in exchange, they provided some more robust tools and better alerts and things like that. And if then that would help. So it's still a two-sided thing, but I fully believe that a team is capable of completing mythic content eventually, and that's the important takeaway. A lot of folks seem pretty impatient these days. World First Race needs to last less than one reset, apparently, or it's bad. Maybe some people have that. Some people have that take. I think if a raid or an encounter, if it takes a really long time because it's that hard to get everyone coordinated in the exact way, and gear would make a difference, that's fine. What we're seeing is is people getting by with the minimum amount of gear, and they have to make it up for it somewhere, and that's by optimizing the shit out of their movement, out of their placement, out of their cooldowns, and that sort of thing. And that's what makes the world first race really special, because people are going in kind of under geared. Well, they are very geared, but they don't have, like in this case, they don't have like max shards and shard powers and all that other garbage. They don't have those sorts of things that otherwise, now that we've completed the Mythic Hall of Fame, a lot of that is thanks to, well, we got more gear, we got 252s, we've got level 5 shards, that sort of thing. And so now we're seeing more and more people being able to clear, which is fine. But I fully believe, like, if it took, like, if the difference between add-ons was like, oh, you know, instead of it taking a reset, it took like 3 or 4 resets for the world, for like a world first guild to complete it, is that so bad? Is that really so bad? Because it was just that hard? And how would these players feel afterwards? I could see some criticism over, well, shoot, it's like really tight. It really sucks that, you know, we couldn't get through this one fight without having to like do all these crazy things and having to coordinate things and yada yada yada. You know, part of me also thinks they might have, if add-ons weren't really a thing in WoW and encounters were the way that they were, and Blizzard didn't put any more efforts to put in better raid alerts and things like that, like cast bars, blah, 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 we'd probably see like third-party add-ons exist outside of the game that are like, okay, here's like the relative like raid timers and things like that. They would coordinate. There would be some sort of external program where they would just like hit a button when the encounter starts, right? And then those would be like the timers. And that would be, gamers would find a way, right? Let's don't get me wrong, gamers will find a way to get around that somehow, and it happens, and it happens everywhere. But going back to the core part of the conversation, I think it's okay if encounters are just hard. I think that's what I was trying to get at. Funny you say that, says Lo-Fi. I forced myself too lately to experience. I forced myself to experience for myself. Don't read guides. It's even hard to get this in my own brain. One thing that I felt really awkward about is when we killed normal Sylvanas like a month or whatever ago. There was a person in raid who's like a heroic raider trying to be a mythic, you know, as soon as they have more people. He explained most of the fight, and I felt like, and I felt dirty for it. I felt like something was taken away, and I felt bad because later on, he was like, "Hey, can you help me out with a heroic kill?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I have the gear for it," but I didn't have the knowledge exactly, because there was an ability that goes off where she does a thing, and I can't, and no one's allowed to have stacks and stuff like that, and I never noticed it at all, because either it doesn't happen in heroic, and maybe I'm just dumb about it and I'm outing myself live, or it wasn't normal and I just didn't notice, and I probably would have noticed if I had paid more attention, or if we progressed like a little bit more normally. And so I feel like it's hard, because if you get a new person coming into your team, then that person isn't going to get that same experience. They're not going to get that progression experience, because now it's on farm, right? And that's, you know, it's hard to like replicate that sort of feeling, because everyone's like, okay, let's pump, let's go. And then the other person's like, oh, what do I do? I'm on the, it's okay, you're on the floor. Just just enjoy the loot, man. And that kind of makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like I'm taking that person, that person isn't going to have the same experience that we had when we were progressing. And to me, that's special. I know in my heart that I wouldn't feel very fulfilled if it's like, oh, I got this kill with a pug. I don't feel like I would be celebrating for myself, but there's a certain special something when you earn that kill with your team, because it's your team. These are the people that you've been interacting with and trying to help out and trying to teach, and otherwise, these people. It's like, oh yeah, they came through because because their kids asleep. Let's try to get a few more pulls in. It's like, oh, we still got it. Yeah, nice. That sort of thing. I'll probably talk about this more at some point because I'm definitely carrying on right now. I play a different World of Warcraft than other people, and I wish that people could share in that experience with me, because it's it goes back to the whole difference between being in a pug and being in a guild, and I totally know, and I've totally heard all sorts of stories about how a person's guild experience was bad, and because of that, they've settled for the pug world. And I'd love to just make more examples, or I'd love to keep pushing the notion that a guild can be out there, and boy, that experience can feel like really good. And I feel it sucks because I feel unique, which is cool and not cool, because not everyone gets to have that sort of experience. Because it's like, we did it. Whereas in a pug, it's more like, okay, yeah, we did it, but it's more like me, I don't know. I'll try to organize my thoughts into like a better rant. But yeah, I was also talking about like guides and stuff like that. I feel like they take away the experience. I know I've said this multiple times, that being dependent on not even so much add-ons, but definitely with like guides and videos where you kind of see everything, you look at the instruction manual, and then from there, your job is to follow that instruction manual and to get other people to follow that the thing to do. And that's it. I feel like the discovery of trying to unravel that puzzle, it feels like people are too impatient to want to bother with that anymore. And again, a lot of that comes from pugs, because when you join that pug, you're going to run into people of very different skill levels, very different experiences, unless that particular pug has a very clear statement in the description. So, oh, this is an AOTC run, blah, blah, blah. We need people with experience, whatever. Even then, you're still going to get people with different levels of experience. Or if anything, they didn't learn the fight the same way that others did. It's like, oh yeah, maybe we looked at a guide, or maybe we looked at a different guide, or maybe we looked at a guide and it sucked, but we figured it out for ourselves, and that's what we've been doing for a while, and now everything's weird. I've seen that numerous times whenever I would join like a raid finder thing, and I'd pull a boss a certain way, and people would be like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, the same thing that I've been doing. And and you can't do anything about it because I'm the super geared tank and you can't even pull aggro off me. So too bad, suckers. Let's see. Everyone's in a rush to break the game. I think guides got us too comfy. That's why we checked them so fast. Fane loves going in blind just for that adventurous feeling, but not a lot of people like that approach. Drogon fully agrees with the team player vibe. It means so much more when you progress with the family than helping a friend in a pug. That's how I started as well, and how I got AOTC this week. Lamau. No, that's fine, because the long and short of it too is that people should be able to play however they like. If your circumstances or if your situation leaves you with no choice but to pug, that's the game for you. I'm mostly speaking to the audience that has settled for it because they feel like they can't find a home or that they can't find a guild to enjoy. And even my guild is like, we're not perfect, you know. A lot of the time we sound like depressed. After all, we're prisoners of Warcraft, right? But we still get stuff done. And last week was really solid. One of our guys, Mac, he was like, dude, I'm away for 1 day and you guys get like you guys progress through 3 bosses. I'm like, yeah, it's because you didn't show up. Woohoo. You know, that's how we that's how we sometimes treat each other. And that's okay. Some people don't they definitely don't vibe with that. But some people are also perfectly fine with being like a normal guild. Some people are there are some obscure teams out there, low key. You know, they're in a certain group, they're progressing through normal and they're struggling, and that's fine. As long as they're having a good time. There's nothing that we can compare that to. You know, if they're having fun and we're having fun, that just means that we're all having fun. So it also makes me feel really bad about people who trash talk. Oh, you just do LFR or you just do normal. You guys aren't really playing the real World of Warcraft. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You know, you're just bent. You just like seeing people like feel bad or whatever. See, oh, you got into an AOTC guild. Yeah, see it. I probably missed that, Peter. I probably missed that. But yeah, see, cool. Guilds are great. Well, let me rephrase. Guilds can be great, and they can be total shit sometimes too. I'm not even an exception to that. We're not that nice. So anyway, that is finally going to end today's coffee episode. Thanks for coming. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay breezy.